Prabhu is very instrumental in ISKCON Brisbane activities. He regularly conducts seminars, courses in Australian universities and corporate businesses, helping both students and corporate professionals to understand their inner and natural potential related to their area of working. Prabhu is very expert in Sanskrit and well known for his discourses in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So that's Viraj Krishna Dasa Prabhu. Thank you so much for Prabhu coming here. So I'll let you now. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. If I can have one request, please, Prabhu, Sanmat, please. Those who don't have back problems, if we can move right forward. I'm just feel like I'm speaking to open space over here. Sorry for troubling you. Please move right forward. Perhaps in the center, so I'm not looking at. Our philosophy is personalism, not impersonalism. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radha. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Om Vishpat Paramhamsa Paripurya Stotra Srimad Vaishnavanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, titled The Activities of Maharaj Priyavata, text number 12. Please repeat after me. न तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगवीर्येण मनीषया वा नैवार्थधर्म परता स्वतो वा कृतं विहन्तुं तनुभृद्विभूयान् न तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगवीर्येण मनीषया वा नैवार्थधर्मैः परतः स्वतो वा कृतं विहन्तुं तनुभृद्विभूयात् प्रभु न तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगवीर्येण तपीतवाया नैवार्थधर्मैः परतो स्वतो वा कृतं विहन्तुं तनुभृद्विभूयात् न तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगवीर्येण मनीषया वा नैवार्थधर्मैः परतः स्वतो वा तनुभृद्विभूयात् न तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगेन मनीषया वा
नैवाथ धर्मे परता स्वतो वा कृतं विहन्तुं तनुभृद्विभूयात् न तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगवीर्येण मनीषया वा नैवाथ धर्मे परता स्वतो वा कृतं विहन्तुं तनुभृद्विभूयात् न तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगवीर्येण मनीषया वा नैवाथ धर्मे परतो स्वतो वा कृतं विहन्तुं तनुभृद्विभूयात्
What? Na, never. Tasya, his. Kasyid, anyone. Tapasa, by austerity. Vidyaya, by education. Va, or. Na, never. Yoga, by power of mystic yoga. Viryena, by personal strength. Manishaya, by intelligence. Va, or. Na, never, ever, certainly, artha, by material opulence, dharmaihi, by the power of religion, parataha, by an external power, by any external power, swataha, by personal endeavor, va, or kritam, the order, vihantum, to avoid, anubhrit, a living entity who has accepted a material body, vibhuyat, is able. Translation by His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. One cannot avoid the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not by the strength of severe austerities, an exalted Vedic education, or the power of mystic yoga, physical prowess, or intellectual activities, nor can one use his power of religion, his material opulence, or any other means, either by himself or with the help of others, to defy the orders of the Supreme Lord. That is not possible for any living being from Brahma down to the end. Echoed by Srila Prabhupada, please hear. In the Garga Upanishad, Garga Muni says to his wife, Etasi ba akarasya prasasane gargi surya chandramaso vidrato tishtataha. My dear Gargi, everything is under the control of Supreme Personality of Godhead, even the sun, the moon, and other controllers and demigods like Lord Brahma and King Indra are all under his control. An ordinary human being or animal who has accepted a material body cannot go beyond the jurisdiction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's control. Any material body includes senses. However, the sense activities of so-called scientists who try to be free from God's laws or laws of nature are useless. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:14. Mama Maya Duratyaya. It is impossible to surpass the control of material nature, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is working behind it. Sometimes we are proud of our austerities, penances, and mystic yogic powers, but it is clearly stated herein that one cannot surpass the laws and directions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, either by dint of mystic power, a scientific education, or austerities and penances. It is impossible. The word manishaya, by intelligence, is of special significance. Priyavrata might argue that Lord Brahma was requesting him to accept family life and responsibility of ruling a kingdom. Although Narad Muni had advised him not to enter household life and be entangled in material affairs. Whom to accept would be a puzzle for Priyavrata, because both Lord Brahma and Narad Muni are authorities. Under the circumstances, the use of word Manishaya is very appropriate, for it indicates that since both Narad Muni and Lord Brahma are authorized to give instructions, Priyavita should neglect neither of them, but should use his intelligence to follow the advice of both. To solve such dilemma, Srila Rupa Goswami has given very clear conception of intelligence and says, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharhan Upayunjataha Nirbande Krishna Sambande Yuktam Vairagyamuchate. Vishayan, material affairs should be accepted without attachment, and everything should be dovetailed with the service of the Lord. That is real intelligence, Manisha. Becoming a family man or a king in the material world is not harmful if one accepts everything for Krishna's service. That necessitates clear intelligence. Mayavadi philosophers say, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. This material world is false and only absolute truth is real. However, an intelligent devotee in the line of Lord Brahma and the great sage Narada, or in other words, in the Brahma Sampradaya, does not consider this world false. That which is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be false, but using it for enjoyment is. Everything is meant to be enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 5.29. Bhokta Ram Yagna Tapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the supreme proprietor and enjoyer, and therefore everything should be dovetailed for his enjoyment and service. Regardless of one's circumstances, favorable or unfavorable, one should use everything to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the perfect way to use one's intelligence. Jai Shri Bhaktivedanta Papots ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhutairmahadbhiryayama puro vibhu Nirmaya Shete Yadamushu Purusha Bhunte Gunan Shodashatmaka Tolang Krisishta Bhagavan Vacham Sime Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satatapi Patam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam. Hare Krishna Prabhus and Matajis. So happy to see you all. Some familiar old faces and many new faces. Nonetheless, we all are connected through Srila Prabhupada in service of Shri Radha Giridhari. And I take blessings of all the senior Vaishnavas in this assembly and their lordships, so that whatever we may speak in discussing this nice pastime of activities of Maharaj Priyavrata is as per the Parampara Siddhanta conclusions. So Srimad Bhagavatam is described by Sridhar Goswami as very vast and deep. And before starting to write a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, he says that where is Srimad Bhagavatam so vast and deep, full of meanings, and where is my puny intelligence? Where even Mount Mandara, so when the demigods and the demons were doing the manthana of the Sagar ocean, then the Mount Mandara kept sinking down, and Krishna at that point in time assumed Matsya Rupa Avatara and carried the Mandara mountain on his back. So he says, my intelligence simply is sinking to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. My intelligence is very puny. But nonetheless, O Krishna, how in your form as Matsya you lifted the Mandara Parvata, similarly, please lift my intelligence so that I can make anything worthwhile out of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in same sentiment, we also pray that we can make something out of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the most important aspects of devotional service, because it is the guiding principle which can extricate us out of problems. And here we see a great crisis or a problem. One who is not devotionally inclined may not see a problem here, but for a brahmachari and for a person who is inclined for devotional service, this is a crisis situation. And therefore we see all great personalities, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narad Muni, and Swayambhu Manu. All of them are marginas. Of the 12 marginas, 4 are present here. And they are trying, 2 of them are trying to convince, 3 of them are trying to convince Priyavrat Maharaj to accept the kingdom and enter the married life, Grahastha Ashram. And one of them, probably the most strongest one, Narad Muni, is trying to convince him otherwise. And of course, Priyavrata Maharaj does not need any convincing, because he is already a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna. So $1 million question, marry or not to marry? I remember when I was in Baroda many, many years ago, 20 years going back with my Guru Maharaj. And as we were entering the ashram, then one of the devotees, young devotees, he bowed down to Maharaj and with folded hands approached Maharaj. And Maharaj said, "Son, yes, what's your name?" And the devotee said his name. And he said, "Are you married?" And the devotee said, "No, I'm not married." And then Maharaj replied, "Arey, why aren't you married?" And that devotee got confused because he did not want to marry. And then another devotee came, and then Maharaj asked the same question, "Are you married?" That devotee said, "Yes, Maharaj, I just got married." "Arey, why did you get married?" So, as they say, damn you do, damn you don't. But from these nice purports of Srila Prabhupada, we can understand that how nicely the devotees are explaining this situation, that one can basically be a devotee in all circumstances. There is no designation for a devotee. Devotee is a devotee in all circumstances. But of course, a devotee of the Lord is always afraid. What is the devotee of the Lord always afraid of? Yeah, very nice, Mataji. The illusory energy of the Lord. We see in episode of Prahlad Maharaj prays to Lord Nrsimhadev. He says, "Naham bhipem majitate ti bhayanakasya." That, oh, my Lord Nrsimhadev, Naham bhipem ajitate ati bhayanakasya. Your form is very ghastly, very fearful, bhayanak. But Naham vivemya, I'm not afraid of this ghastly form of yours. Jivarka, Netra, Bhrukuti, Rabasogra, Damstrad, Anta Sraja, Shatajakesara, Sanku Karnan. He says, your frowning eyebrows, your thunderbolt-like feet, your wedge-like ears, and your garland-like intestine. Hiranyakashipu's intestine was ripped apart by Lord Nrsimhadev. And Lord Nrsimhadev was frowning and roaring, and everyone, including goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, was frightened. But Prahlad Maharaj says, Naham bibhem ajitate ti bhayanakasya. I'm not frightened of this frightful form of yours. But then in the very next verse, Prahlad Maharaj says, but I'm frightened of this one thing. Trastosmyaham kripana vatsala dustahogra. That I'm frightened of the illusory energy of yours, which is continuously grasitam. Grasitam means being crushed through the illusory energy. Samsara chakra grasatam pranita, he says. This samsara chakra, cycle of birth and death, in which we are constantly being crushed. Trastosmyaham kripana vatsala dustahogra samsara chakra gratitam pranitam. And due to your illusionary energy, how can I extract myself? Oh my Lord, only if you look upon me and call me, I will have any hope. So, Srila Prabhupada used to make this point that, my disciples are not really frightened of the illusory energy of the Lord. Once we see this pastime that Prabhupada was approached by a devotee disciple, and the disciple asked Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, will you ever fall down? Srila Prabhupada said, no, I will never fall down. And the very next day, Srila Prabhupada was at the altar praying to the Lord Shivs very intensely. And the same devotee approached Prabhupada again and asked, Srila Prabhupada, what are you praying for? And Srila Prabhupada replied, I'm praying to their Lord Shivs that please protect me so that I never fall down. Devotee became confused. But yesterday you said you will never fall down. And Srila Prabhupada said, yes. And that's why I'm praying to the Lord that please protect me so I don't fall down. So devotee is always cognizant of this fact that the illusory energy of the Lord, Maya, is very strong. And no matter at what stage the devotee is at, the Maya can capture and crush the devotee many, many times and lead them to the material path. So, Priyata Maharaj very rightly is frightened of this fact that Narad Muni has blessed me with the signs of devotional service, and now I'm at this stage where I can just continue on without any hindrance. But here, my father, Swayambhu Manu, is asking me to take the responsibility of the kingdom. Of course, in the previous verses, it is explained why that is happening, because there is no king so to rule, because the line of Uttanapada has completed, or not completed, there is a disruption, because the last king in that line, Daksha, has gone to perform austerities. So there is no king, so to speak, to rule over the whole universe. So due to this disruption, Priyavrata, the first son, Priyavrata, the first son of Swayambhu Manu, is now being requested by Swayambhu Manu to please, you give up your life of aesthetic and rule the kingdom and enter the Grahastha ashram. So Priyavrata Maharaj is reluctant. So Lord Brahma has come now, and Lord Brahma is speaking to Priyavrata Maharaj. The Bhagavatam says, first Lord Brahma looks with Priyavrata Maharaj with compassion. With compassion because he knows that he is a devotee of the Lord and is frightened of illusory energy of the Lord. So just because Lord Brahma looks at Priyavrata Maharaj with compassion, this is a guarantee that Priyavrata Maharaj will not succumb to the illusory energy of the Lord. And secondly, Bhagavatam says, Lord Brahma is smiling, and there is sarcasm in Lord Brahmaji's smile. You want to be a brahmachari, but you'll have to get married. Like that. And such a wonderful verse here, Lord Brahma is speaking. Natasya kaschit tapasa vidyayava no yoga viryena manishayava naivartha dharmai paratasvato va kritam vihantum tanubhed vibhuyad. Translation again, one cannot avoid the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not by the strength of severe austerities and exalted Vedic education or power of mystic yoga, physical prowess, viryana, or intellectual activities, manishaya. Nor can one use his power of religion, dharma, his material opulence, artha, or any other means, either by himself, svatova, or with help of others, parataha, to defy the orders of the Supreme Lord. Kritam vihantum tanubed vibhuya. So this verse sounds very daunting. You know, whatever the Supreme Lord decides, um, that is marked in the stone. Nothing can change it. I remember many years ago, I was writing an article on this verse, and if we read in this verse, Naivarta dharmahi, even if you follow the religious principle, even then you cannot change whatever Krishna decides. And we see many instances like that. And each example, I think about 8 or 10 reasons are here, 8 or 10 counteracting activities here are given. Natasya kaschit, first one is tapasa. So who performed austerities, and yet, even after performing austerities, severe austerities, the purpose of the austerity was defeated. Anyone? Very good. Hiranyakashipu. For thousands of years, standing on the top, he was standing. His body was being eaten away by ants. Such severe austerity. And Lord Brahma came and blessed him. But just in one moment, his intestine was ripped out. He could not defy the orders. Natasya kachit tapasa vidyayava. By knowledge, one cannot defy the order of the Supreme Lord. Any example of someone who tried to use their knowledge to defy the orders of Supreme Lord or change the course of their destiny? Actually, I have one contemporary example. In Sydney, when we were there, one family had come from India, and that person was very qualified. He's a professor in physics, and he was also an expert astrologer. He had great knowledge of astrology. So he looked into his own charts and his family members' charts, and the chart said, really bad time is coming. So he thought, okay, let me move to Australia. Bad times may change in Australia, land of opportunities. But he was so overqualified, he could not find a job in Australia, and he was filling the south of supermarkets with goods. And his wife developed this rare condition where the bone was growing on the jaws, and the jaw became locked. She could not eat, she could not speak, and an operation had to be carried out to cut the bone. Just imagine how painful that would be. And anyway, they came in contact with us, and we conducted Bhagavatam classes at their places, and we recited Gajendra Moksha prayers. And when the operation finished in the hospital, and I went to visit that Mataji, she said to me, Prabhu, you know what? Thank you so much for giving these Gajendra Moksha prayers, because nothing else is helping. Even when my husband comes and asks me, how are you? I feel so angry at him. I'm in so much pain. But when I recite Gajendra Moksha prayers, I feel some relief there. So even by knowledge, we cannot defy what will happen or what is bound to happen. Vidyayava, nayoga viryena. Know by the process of yoga, know by the viryena, by strength. Any example of yoga who tried to defy or change the course of destiny? Durvasa Muni, such a powerful sage. He plucked out hair and created a great demon to kill Amrish Maharaj. But immediately the Sudarshan Chakra of the Supreme Lord devoured the demon and ran after Durvasa Muni. And at the end of the day, Durvasa Muni had to come down and bow at the feet of the pure devotee of the Lord. So even by mystic yoga, one cannot defy the order of the Supreme Lord. Viryena, by one's own strength. Great demons, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, they thought they are very strong. They can defeat Krishna. But Krishna, no one can gain victory over Krishna. The Manishayava means, Manisha means intelligence. We try to outsmart Krishna. Shakuni is regarded as a great intelligent person. Shakuni actually was very intelligent. But nonetheless, because he used his intelligence to defy orders of Krishna, even Shakuni was defeated in his endeavors. And Naiva, Artha means wealth. Anyone can tell example of someone who tried to use their wealth to purchase Krishna, buy Krishna, bribe Krishna? We all try to do this. I'll put 10 coconuts if I pass my exams and so forth. What do we think? We can purchase Krishna by 10 coconuts? We give Krishna, oh, Krishna, you do this for me, I'll give you this. In Mahabharata, example of Duryodhana is there. Oh Krishna, I'll give you 56 varieties of preparations. You come to my home, forget about the proposal of Pandavas, and just come, eat, enjoy, and go back. No, we cannot purchase Krishna by our material wealth. Krishna doesn't want that. Krishna is not interested in that. And dharma, even by following the religious principles. So one may think, I want to change my destiny, or I want to change the means, even if by following religious principles I'm not able to do it, then why become a devotee? A valid question, isn't it? We can discuss a bit more on this point. Parata means with help of others, and swata means by our own endeavor. So the example of Jarasandha is there. Jarasandha was the great demon. He was the uncle of Kamsa. The father-in-law of Kamsa. His daughter was married to Kamsa, and because Krishna killed Kamsa, then Jarasandha wanted to avenge because his daughter had become widowed. So Jarasandha, he 18 times gathered how many Akshayani Sena? I think it was 21. And it is much greater than the Kauravas and Pandavas combined. I may be wrong in number, but greater than Kauravas and Pandavas combined. 18 times he attacked Mathura to kill Krishna and Balaram. But each time Krishna and Balaram, they killed all the soldiers that Jarasandha had brought, all the demonic elements, but left Jarasandha. Balaram wanted to kill Jarasandha, but Krishna said, look, Vinashaya cha duskritam. That's one of the reasons why we are here, to kill all the miscreants. And this Jara, where will we go? All over the earth to look for miscreants. But this Jarasan is our nice agent. He's collecting all the demons and bringing them to us. And we can easily kill them. Let him go. And so 18 times Jarasan attacked. And 18 times Krishna killed everyone else but left Jarasan. But of course, in the after that, Krishna, after 18 times, Krishna ran away to Dwarika. So it's known as Ranchod. He left the battlefield. But Jarasan could not even touch Krishna. With his own endeavor and Parataha, with help of others as well. Kritam bihantum tanubhrid vibhuyat. The important words here are tanubhrid. We have attained a material body due to our own previous karmas. So we have certain prarabdha that we have to go through. Those actions, those past karmas which are fructifying now. And that determines what kind of varna and what kind of ashrama we will be entering. And no one can change it. And Priyavrata Maharaj was meant for that. But that does not exclude anyone from loving Krishna or taking shelter of Krishna. Very nice. Rup Goswami discussed in his diary. Rup Goswami had a diary which is called Padyavali, and nice verses he writes in that diary. And one of the verses there, he writes that Vyadhasya Charanadhruvasya Chavayo Vidya Gajendrasya Ka Kubjaya Kim Yunam Rupamadikam Kim Tat Sudamna Dhanam Vamshah Ko Vidurasya Yadavapate Vipugrasya Kim Paurusham Bhaktya Tushpyati Kevalam Nachagune Bhakti Priyo Madhava. So he gives various examples. So we discussed, these many aspects here: tapasa, austerity, vidya, knowledge, yoga practice, virya, prowess, paurusha, intelligence, money, religious principles, parataha, own endeavor, together with others' help. So in this particular verse, Rup Goswami says, Vyadhasya Charanam. So he is referring to the hunter called Dharma. That hunter, Dharma, he was a great devotee of Krishna, but nonetheless he was a hunter. And scriptures describe that he was saving his parents, but while doing the service, somehow or the other, he was ordained to be in that occupation, but he was constantly chanting Krishna's names. And yet, he attained Krishna's abode at the end of his life. So, Rup Goswami asks, where was his piety? Where was Dharma's piety? He had no piety, but still he was a devotee of the Lord. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo. Where was Dhruv Maharaj's maturity? He was just a 5-year-old boy. Narad Muni said, just go back to your home. Why you have to feel so angered and embarrassed by your stepmother Surichi's harsh words? 5-year-old boy, just go and play. Where was his maturity? But still, he attained the Supreme Lord. He attained devotional service. Vidya Gajendrasya ka. Where was Gajendra's knowledge? Gajendra was a dull elephant. But nonetheless, because in his past life, Bhagavatam mentions Jajapya Paramam Japyam Prag Janmani Anusikshitam. In his past life, he had learned the great mantra for deliverance, of glorifying the Lord, and he chanted those mantras. He was delivered. Gajendra's, actually, even Prahlad Maharaj glorifies Gajendra's devotional service. He says, Bhaktya Gaja Yutapaya. He says, Gajendra did simple devotional service to Krishna. Gajendra's devotional service was not complicated at all. Sometimes we, complicate devotional service too much. Overthinking, over-analyzing. In our world, they say, analysis paralysis. But Gajendra was very simple in his devotional service. He just offered prayers, plucked out lotus flower, and just offered to Krishna. Where was his knowledge? No, there's no knowledge. Vidya Gajendrasya ka kupchaya kimyu namarupam. Where was the beauty of Kubja? Kubja was one of the ugliest ladies of Mathura. But when she saw Krishna, she desired, oh, how beautiful these two brothers are. And she desired to offer the sandalwood pulp that she was carrying for Kamsa. And Krishna asked, can I have the sandalwood pulp? And Kubja on Krishna's body put sandalwood pulp. Where was his beauty? Usually, when someone's not beautiful, people become a bit reserved not to approach them or talk to them. And on the contrary, if someone's very beautiful, everyone likes to be around them. And also this pride comes, people who are beautiful looking, that they can get away with anything. But Krishna doesn't see that outward beauty. Krishna sees the inside beauty. Where was the beauty of Kubja? But nonetheless, when Krishna, it is said, put his foot on Kubja and straightened her, she was hunchback old lady. Our Guru Maharaj jokingly mentions Kubja was made by Krishna the beauty queen of Mathura. Kubchaya kim yunamarupamadikam tat kim sudamna dhanam. Where was the wealth of Sudama? Sudama was poor Brahmana, did not have anything. Even when he went to see Krishna, his wife had given borrowed chipped rice. And Sudamna did not go to Krishna to ask for anything. His wife, Sudamna's wife, Sushila, mentioned to Sudamna that you should go and ask something. But Sudamna said, no, I cannot go to Krishna to ask for anything. I'm just satisfied. She said, okay, don't go to ask for anything. Just go and visit him. He's your childhood friend, just visit him. So Sudama became very happy. Oh, this is a nice opportunity to visit Krishna. I haven't seen him for a while. And so Sudama went, and we know the pastime. Krishna took the chipped rice and gave so much wealth to Sudama. This whole pastime can go on for a few days, but time is of essence. But the point, when Sudama goes back in his own old ragged clothes, Krishna takes away the old ragged clothes. Actually, Sudama strayed for a few days in Dwaraka, and Krishna gave him royal garments, nice clothes, nice jewelries. But when Sudama was going back, Krishna called Sudama and said, "Oh, Sudama, you know, you have a long journey, and there'll be dacoits and rogues on the road. These royal garments you are wearing, they may rob you, you know, and they may harm you. So here is your old garments. You please wear this and give back the royal garments I gave you." So Sudama became very happy. Oh, my Lord is giving me back what my original position is through these clothes. And throughout, he was meditating and going. And when he saw the royal palace, he could not recognize. Sudama's wife, Sushila Devi, came. He could not recognize who is she. And she said, "Oh, my Lord, I'm your wife. These are your children. Krishna, Dwarkadhish, has given so much to us now." So Sudama, with tears in his eyes, said, "Yes, you desired this. Krishna has given this to you. But to me, Krishna has given these old garments. I will go under the same tree and just chant his names." Such was devotion of Sudama, but no wealth. Tat kim Sudamna dhanam vamshaha ko vidurasya yadavapate. Where was the good family lineage of Vidura? Vidur was the son of a maid servant. They were, you know, three brothers, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. And Vidura was conceived when the two other queens became frightened of Vyasadev's terrible look. But Vidura is incarnation, we know, of Yamaraja, and he was a great devotee of the Lord, and he exclusively does devotion. So we see all the third and the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is devoted entirely to Vidura getting instructions from Maitreya Rishi. And actually, in last few verses of the fourth chapter, we see how Vidura, what sentiments Vidura expresses to Maitreya Rishi. With tears in his eyes, he expresses gratitude that you have given me this science of Krishna consciousness. And with Krishna in his heart, Bhagavatam mentions Krishna Hrida, Hari Hrida in his heart. Then he goes back to Hastinapur to deliver Dhritarashtra. Vamshahako, where was the good family lineage? Vidurasya, Yadava Patir Ugrasya, Kim Paurusha. And where was the Paurusha, means the Viryana, here is mentioned, the Vela, the prowess, the strength of Ugrasena. Ugrasena was the father of Kamsa. And the Kshatriya code is when a Kshatriya is defeated, then he will never accept a kingdom in charity. So when Krishna killed Kamsa, then rightly Krishna should have been the king. But Krishna offered the kingdom to Ugrasena. And Ugrasena at first said, "No, I cannot accept this." But Krishna said, "No, I want you to be the king. I want you to rule the kingdom." Just to please Krishna, Ugrasena accepted being the king again. But that kingdom he received in charity. And for Kshatriya to receive charity of anything, let alone the kingdom, is worse than death. But Ugrasena, just to please Krishna, received that kingdom. Where was his Paurusha? Where was his prowess? And then in the last line we said, Bhaktya tushyati kevalam nachagune. Bhakti priyo madhava. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam nachagune. Bhakti priyo madhava. only bhaktya tushyati kevalam nachagunay. All these qualities, wealth, our religiosity, our strength, our austerities, our effort, and so forth, they don't please Krishna. They cannot please Krishna. Only thing that can please Krishna is the love, the bhakti in our heart that we have developed for him. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam nachagunay. Bhakti priyo madhava. Only bhakti is priya to Madhava. So when we are doing, our devotional practice, this should be the core. That will this activity please my Guru Maharaj? Will this activity be pleasing to Krishna? Or this is for myself? If it is for myself, then it comes under the category of sense gratification, subtle as it may be. So here we see Priyavrata will be taking up, as per Brahma's instruction, an occupation that he actually does not want to do. But nonetheless, it is needed. And so he will accept the orders of Lord Brahma. Okay, yes, I will do it. But he does it with impeccable honesty and with full heart. And throughout, his senses are fully under his control. This, and in the later verses, we see how it is mentioned how for a grahastha, it is the grahastha ashram is like a fortress in which the senses can be controlled through regulation, and it's a safe position. Otherwise, uncontrolled senses together with mind can cause havoc, especially for one who is not meant to be in brahmacharya ashram or renunciate ashram, but one who lives from 25 to 50 years of age at least in the grahastha ashram, doing their duty honestly. Our Guru Maharaj mentioned one way, swadharma nirato astu, that one who does their swadharma as per the varna and ashrama expertly, and Priyavrata Maharaj does expertly. Actually, in the last verses of this chapter, it is mentioned that his prowess was exactly like Supreme Personality of Godhead. Priyavrata Maharaj had created a moon. A sun. No scientist can think of creating their own sun. But Priyavrata Maharaj did that. And by just driving his chariot, he could divide the universe into 7 dvipas and 7 oceans. Such was prowess of Priyavrata Maharaj. So very expertly he carried out his ashram duties. At the same time, nonetheless, Hari Bhakti Ratihi Sada. His Hari Bhakti and his Ratihi attachment to devotional service was always unfailing. And Sarvandriya Upashantyacha, his senses were always under his check and control. And Tushyati Sarva Devata, it is said, such a person is able to please all the demigods. One who does his swadharma nicely, one who is always doing devotional service, keeping his heart there. The activity may be material, but because the devotee's heart is there is bhakti. He's doing it as an offering to Krishna. Hari Bhakti Rati Sada. And the senses can be controlled because his ashram activity is an offering to Krishna. Otherwise, without offering to Krishna, the senses will just drown the person in the life of illusion. just starts. But nonetheless, we see Priyamata Maharaj is always thinking of devotional service, and at the end, he is condemning, how he has become implicated and attached in Grahastha ashram. Although he never did, his heart was always in Krishna. But this is a good sentiment to have. Our Guru Maharaj used to say, at heart, every Grahastha should be a brahmachari. We may be married. I remember Kadam Kanan Maharaj, when he came to Sydney once, he was giving a class, that we can go to our wife and say, I love you the most in this universe, but only after Krishna. That sentiment should be there in heart for the Lord. That yes, Krishna, you are the first and the foremost personality in my life. Everyone comes later. But at the same time, when the person is doing the material activity, it seems that he is fully engrossed materially and expertly doing. No one can know that his heart is somewhere else. This is the expert. This is called Daksha. Krishna mentions in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One of the qualities of devotee is Daksha. What does Daksha mean? Expert. Is an expert. Devotee is an expert in doing everything. There's so much more to say, but it'd be nice to hear any comments from devotees.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class. You mentioned that Rupa Goswami had raised mentioned, and you mentioned the hunter and how he was always thinking of Lord Krishna, but he was also engaged in hunting. So in that sense, like devotees, we had so many restrictions even before we get initiated. So once we obviously follow the four regular principles, and that includes our occupational duties, that we try to find a job that's particularly sattvic in nature. So, but I also say that there are a lot of people that are not fully Krishna conscious, they're not in ISKCON, but they're favorable, and they may be doing so many activities that are not in line with Vedic principles, but that obviously should not restrict them from coming to Krishna consciousness, isn't it? So
we never know how Krishna may act within their hearts. I mean, one example I have is I had once visited a person in Sydney, my uncle's wife's father, and he was a celebrated atheist. And while sitting down with him, he came to know I was in Hare Krishna, and he started arguing with me, kind of that, we can't understand why, you are vegetarians, why even no onion garlic, not even tea. But anyway, long story short, after 3 hours of discussion, he became convinced of what we are doing is the correct way of doing. And he had I could see it. He had this genuine appreciation, and he said, "Oh, I'm very happy that your conviction is not just sentiment. I can see that you have really thought it through, and what you are doing is very nice. But I cannot do it." But then from that day, he started chanting Hare Krishna. And on his deathbed, the last words before leaving his breath, he uttered is Hare Krishna. And his family members told me when he passed away like that. So we never know how Krishna can take over a person's heart. This is what in the paper Prabhupada mentioned, the word Manishaya. Manishaya means intelligence. So Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mama piyantite. I give them intelligence by which they can come to me. We may become very particular about this regulation, that regulation, and we should, because we are initiated into the movement. But at the end of the day, Krishna is in charge. He can choose whoever he wants. I mean, we may be very nice in following rules and regulations, but do we have no envy in our heart? Usually, even if you defeat a person in debate, they will look at you with a grudge, but this person appreciated it. There was no envy in his heart in that sense. So somehow or the other, Srila Prabhupada said in one of the papers, one grain of faith is better than tons of faithlessness. So as Prabhupada's representatives, our job is to just fan that one spark of faith a devote someone may have, and just encourage them in Krishna consciousness. Actually, when I was reading last night this chapter, and this morning when I saw you, I remembered, oh, this is a perfect fit for you. Nitya Gopal is my godbrother. I'm surprised to see him here. He was in Wellington. And he came to visit us about 16 years ago in Sydney. Yeah, something. And he just got married at that time. And he was supposed to stay with us for a weekend after his work was over. Then he comes up to me and said, Prabhu, I think my wife is missing me. I'll go back early if you don't mind. But in this chapter, we look how Priyavrata Maharaj was attached to his wife. And when I saw you this morning, I remember, yeah, how Priyavrata Maharaj was attached to his wife. It is better in Grahastha ashram to be attached to our wife and the wife attached to husband. And that will actually regulate us, that we don't go here and there. And that one aspect will save us in long run. We forget that this is not what you call a sprint. This is a marathon. We have to outlast, 50 years, 75, if we live a natural life. So yes, when I saw Prabhu, I remembered, yes, he is nicely attached to the wife, as any married person should be. But of course, when time comes, about 50 years of age and so on forth, then we should realize, the Keshav Maharaj, he says, there's 4 stages of life: learning, earning, training, and retaining. So, young life should be devoted to learning of Prabhupada books, scriptures. And then from 25 to 50, Grasta life, earning. And then at 50 years of age, training. Most of the time we should spend here in the temple, serving their lordship, tending towards the lordship. And then ultimately, the aim is returning. We have to go back home, back to Godhead. That only will define the success of our lives. And we see in this chapter, Priyavrata Maharaj is very successful in doing so. Any other questions, comments? No.
Your life cannot use the service always comes. You have
Yes.
so here That is important.
And Grahastha ashram is an austerity in itself, especially for those who want to be devotees, because like we have to manage our time so efficiently. Husband and wife, they have to cooperate. If you are alone, then you are just yourself. But in Grahastha life, whole family members, children, everyone has to be aligned, and Grahastha person knows the value of time as well. Grahastha person cannot waste because the working time is there, and in the morning Mangalarti program is there that we have to do in our own homes. So that is the austerity, basically, for Grahastha life. Srila Prabhupada says just chanting 16 rounds and following 4 regulated principles for ISKCON devotees is austerity. Jai Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,
Viraj Krishna Prabhu ji ki.
और Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.